Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for a presentation on marijuana and marijuana concentrates. My name is Jaden Netsity. I am the chair of the Final Youth Council Prevention Committee. I am Navajo from Farmington, New Mexico. I am a senior at Campo Verde High School. With me here today are my fellow members. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Berdina Riggs. I'm a junior at Xavier College Preparatory. I'm Navajo, Hopi, and San Carlos Apache.
Hi, my name is Miskayo Bitsui. I go to Desert Vista High School and I'm Navajo.
Yat Esh A Kami Artesian Share Nash Edge to Cheatney initially, Touchni Bush's Chin Ki Ani A Dashache, Sisna Ginny A Dashanella. Hello everyone, my name is Cami Ortiz. I'm a prevention specialist here at the Phoenix Indian Center, and I'm one of the prevention committee advisors.
Yat Esha A Karin Yazi Unisha, Kintlachini Nishla, Tatnasani Bashashin, Kia Ani Dashache, Tachini Dashanella. Hello, everybody. I am Kyrene Yazi. I'm a prevention program coordinator, and I am also one of the prevention program advisors for the Final Youth Council Committee.
So what is marijuana? Marijuana is the most commonly abused illicit drug in Arizona for young people and teens. Marijuana comes in many different forms now. It comes in a dry leaf, flower, oil, wax, and edible form. The main active chemical in marijuana is delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC for short. The THC is the main psychoactive, mind-altering chemical in marijuana. As you will see, marijuana's strength or potency is related to the amount of THC it contains, and the THC content of marijuana has been increasing since the 1970s. And today, it's all about the THC for making those marketing marijuana and for those using it. We'll explain more as we go.
There are many different forms and terms for marijuana. Some of the most common are pot, keef, herb, weed, Mary Jane, butter, chronic, wax, shatter, and there are 200 others. In recent years, marijuana has been manipulated to make it more potent, and different strains of marijuana now have their own brand names.
Marijuana comes in many different forms today. It can be smoked, eaten, or vaped. When smoking marijuana is usually smoked as a hand-rolled cigarette, which is usually called a joint. It can be smoked in a pipe or a water pipe, which is also called a bong, or in the blunts, which are cigars that are hollowed out and refilled with a mixture of marijuana and tobacco, or just marijuana. Marijuana can be mixed in food. THC can now be found in candies, brownies, cookies, and many other products called edibles. These can have very high THC concentrations, and marijuana wax and oils are being increasingly used by teens in vaping devices, sometimes called wax pens. These contain very high potency. These concentrates can deliver extremely large amounts of THC to the body, and they're used to send some people to the emergency room. Marijuana can be mixed with other drugs.
People smoke marijuana in hand-rolled cigarettes, joints, or in pens or water pipes, bongs. They also smoke it in blunts, emptied cigars that have been partly or completely refilled with marijuana. Increasingly, we are seeing young people vape marijuana concentrates via vape pen, also called wax pens.
These are additional examples of devices used to vape THC. Marijuana in oil and wax forms are used in these devices. A couple of things for parents to know. One, these devices do not create an odor like dry leaf marijuana smoked in a joint, bong, or blunt, so THC concentrates can be hidden. Two, These devices are typically pretty small and look like the latest technology, so the user can quickly take a puff of the unit, then quickly put it in their pocket to hide. Because they are battery operated, no flame would be detected in lighting it.
See if you can tell the difference. Can you tell which one of these vape pens is a vape for nicotine and which is the vape marijuana concentrates? The answer is A is a PAX pen is used in vape marijuana concentrates, and B is a jewel to use to vape nicotine.
This picture shows you the similarity of the THC cartridges to the nicotine cartridges. The photo on the far left shows the THC cartridges. The middle shows nicotine cartridges, and the right shows THC cartridges. These cartridges have very high THC content. The potency ranges from 40 to 90% pure THC.
This is a look many of the different forms of THC concentrates. These have very high THC levels that can be very dangerous for teens and youth. One of the most common concentrates is wax, the crumble wax, shatter wax, honeycomb wax, and butter wax. These concentrates may contain up to 90% THC. Dry sift in this picture is also called keef. It is a golden powder-like substance that is left behind after the bud is finally grinded up. Keef is stronger than flower marijuana and can be 50% THC and up. Bubble hash is said to be more refined than traditional hash. Bubble hash may contain up to 60% THC. Rosin is a concentrate that is thought to have been discovered in 2015. Crystalline is the purest form of THC, which is about 99.9% THC. These concentrates can cause panic attacks, anxiety, and paranoia. Higher THC levels may also mean a greater risk for addiction if people are regularly exposing themselves to high doses.
You may have heard about the outbreak of lung injuries from people vaping. The Food and Drug Administration alerted the public to hundreds of reports of serious lung illness associated with vaping, including several deaths. They are working with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDCC, to investigate a cause of the illnesses, and they have found to this date that many of the suspect products tested by the state's federal health officials have been identified as vaping products containing THC. 82% of patients hospitalized with lung injury reported THC containing product use. Vitamin A acetate and additive to THC vape products is strongly linked to the lung illness outbreak, and this was updated in January of 2020.
It's critically important for parents to pay special attention to youth vaping marijuana or THC concentrates and waxes. Nationally, past year vaping of marijuana has more than doubled in the past 2 years. In 2019, it was reported at 20.8% among 12th graders, with 10th graders not too far behind at 19.4%, and 8th graders at 7%. Last month, marijuana vaping among 12th graders nearly doubled in a single year to 14% from 7.5%, the second largest one-year jump ever tracked for any substance in the history of the Monitoring the Future survey. The largest was from 2017 to 2018, with past month nicotine vaping among 12th graders. For the first time, the survey measured daily marijuana vaping, which was reported at 3.5% among 12th graders, 3.0% amongst 10th graders, and 0.8% amongst 8th graders. Why is this important? The teen brain is still developing during this critical time, and marijuana use can impact learning. Also, when a person starts using marijuana at a young age, it increases the chances of the teen will become addicted to it.
Now let's take a look at the number of youth using marijuana and THC concentrates in Arizona. This may be a shocker for you. The red bar represents those who said they have ever tried marijuana, and the blue represents those who had vaped or used THC concentrates at least once during their lifetime. 1 out of 3 12th graders said they had vaped or used marijuana concentrate at least once, and 44% they had used marijuana. 1 out of 4 10th graders vaped or used marijuana concentrate, and 32% they had used marijuana. And 14% of 8th graders had vaped or used marijuana concentrate at least once, and 16% used marijuana.
This chart shows Arizona youth who report regular use of marijuana and concentrates. The red bar represents those who said they regularly use marijuana, and the blue line represents those who said they regularly vape or use the THC concentrate. 17% of 12th graders said they regularly use concentrates, and 23% they said they regularly use marijuana. 13% of 10th graders vaped or used marijuana concentrate, and 17% said they regularly use marijuana. 6.5% of 8th graders vape or use marijuana concentrate regularly, and 8% use marijuana regularly. In a study published by the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, vaping highly concentrated THC product is significantly stronger than a smoked leaf form of marijuana. Studies participants vomited, suffered from nausea, hallucinated, and had several paranoia, and more problems on tests involved from problem solving. By the way, in the study, participants only received THC of 13.4%, much lower than the concentrates available today. Bottom line, concentrates of waxes and oils are especially dangerous for youth.
Let's take a look at how the prescription drug problem is impacting our kids and communities. We'll begin with a look at data collected by the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission. They conduct the Arizona Youth Survey every 2 years. The students that participate are in 8th, 10th, and 12th grade. We'll be looking at 2016. The most recent year data is available. In the survey in Arizona, there were 5,006 youth who identified as American Indian on the survey. While tribe-specific data isn't available for this presentation, we do have regional data based on zip codes.
The regions were divided into 4 sections: Northern, North Central, Central, and Southern.
This chart shows American Indian youth in Arizona who are regularly use of marijuana and concentrates. The red bar represents those who said they regularly use marijuana, and the blue line represents those who said they regularly vape or use a THC concentrate. 1 out of 5 youth said they regularly use marijuana, but take a look at the higher number of youth reporting that they use marijuana concentrate regularly. Remember that we talked earlier about the health dangers of youth using high potency of THC.
There were increases in regular marijuana use across all grades from 2016 to 2018. In 2018, 8th grade regular marijuana use is 14%. 10th grade regular marijuana use is 24%, or about 1 out of 5. And 12th grade regular marijuana use is 28%.
This question asks, what age did you first use marijuana? You can see 1 out of 6 youth who use marijuana started in elementary school. This is of great concern because we know the younger children start using drugs, the more likely they develop a substance use disorder.
This chart shows marijuana use among American Indian youth by the following regions: in northern Arizona, central Arizona, north central Arizona, and southern Arizona. As you can see on the chart, 12th graders in all 4 regions have a high rate of marijuana use. Also noted that 10th graders from northern Arizona have the highest rate of marijuana use compared to all regions and grades.
Remember, the high concentrates can have many negative mental and physical health consequences, especially for our kids.
As referred to in the earlier slide, these are marijuana products you can eat are called edibles. There are Pop-Tarts, suckers, candy bars, cookies, and sodas that contain marijuana. Who do you think these edibles would be attracted to? Answer is teens.
If concentrates and edibles are new to you, you may be wondering where and how these teens are getting these products.
Most youth get their marijuana from these sources. 67.4% of youth reported they got it from a friend. Why is this important? If your children's friends smoke pot, your child is more likely to try it. 27.1% said they got it at a party. 1 out of 4, or 24.8%, reported getting it from someone who has a medical marijuana card. 22.6% said other. 17.6% got it from a family member or relative. Other than alcohol, marijuana is one of the most available drugs in Arizona.
Take a look at the reasons why youth say they are using drugs or drinking. To have fun is number 1, but look at what is right behind it. Stress. We have to reach our kids ways to cope with stress because they are coping with stress right now by using drugs or alcohol.
Here are some reasons why American Indian youth reported using substances.
Here's a look at why kids are not using substances. The number 1 reason is that most kids aren't interested, which is a good thing. The second and third reasons are close behind with, it could harm my body and my parents would be disappointed in me. This is a clear message for parents that they can have an influence on your child's drug or alcohol use if they talk with them early and often about this issue.
It is important because the teen brain is very vulnerable during adolescence. Early first use, like 13-year-olds in elementary school, is associated with the most significant impairment. When people begin using marijuana as teenagers, the drug may impair thinking, memory, and learning functions and affect how the brain builds connections between the areas necessary for these functions. Researchers are still studying how long marijuana affects and lasts, whether some changes may be permanent.
The National Institute of Drug Abuse found that people who started using marijuana as teenagers, by the time they were 38, they lost about 8 IQ points. That puts a person of average intelligence into the lowest third of intelligence range. This can jeopardize our children's chances of success in school and in life.
So what are the short-term effects of marijuana? Marijuana can reduce inhibition, which can lead to risky behaviors, can cause distorted perceptions, impair coordination, create difficulty with thinking and problem solving, and cause problems with learning and memory. These effects can cause disaster on the road. Research shows that drivers who have been using marijuana have slower reaction times, impaired judgment, and problems responding to signals and sounds. The normal heart rate of a teen is usually between 70 to 80 beats per minute. Marijuana can cause the heart rate to increase by 20 to 50 beats per minute, or in some cases even double. This effect can be greater if other drugs are taken with marijuana.
If marijuana is used with high THC concentrates and in high doses, it can also cause hallucinations, delusions, psychosis, and regular long-term marijuana use can lead some people to develop cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. This causes users to experience regular cycles of nausea, vomiting, dehydration, sometimes requiring emergency medical attention.
Compared to those who don't use marijuana, those who frequently use large amounts of marijuana report the following: lower life satisfaction, poorer mental health, poorer physical health, more relationship problems. People also report less academic and career success. For example, marijuana is used to link to higher likelihood of dropping out of school. It is also linked to job absences, accidents, and injuries.
We now know that marijuana is addictive. In fact, studies tell us that about 9% of users become addicted to marijuana. The number is higher for those who start in their teens, 17%, or 1 out of 6. Among daily users, that number grows to 25 to 50%.
This graph shows substance abuse treatment admissions from marijuana use disorder in Arizona. They increased 28% from 2014 to 2018.
Marijuana addiction is also linked with withdrawal syndrome, with like that of nicotine withdrawal, which can make it hard to quit. People trying to report irritability, sleeping difficulties, craving, and anxiety. They also increase aggression on psychological tests, peaking approximately 1 week after they use the last drug.
The reality is that kids who are regular users of marijuana are much more likely to use other drugs such as alcohol, cigarettes, prescription pain relievers, and cocaine, as well as other drugs of abuse not listed here such as meth, inhalants, and cough medicine. Further, the more they use, the more likely they are to use these other drugs. You don't need to accept or reject the idea of marijuana as a gateway to other drugs to recognize that kids who are using marijuana on a heavy, consistent basis are much more likely to be using other drugs of abuse as well.
What is driving youth marijuana and concentrate use?
While the science has never been clearer than that marijuana is not a harmless drug, there seems to be a huge disconnect. So where is the disconnect coming from? If you use online social media, you'll find memes, celebrity posts, and discussion that downplays the harms associated with marijuana. If your child is on social media or YouTube, they're exposed to marijuana messages.
This website talks about how vaping is a new way to dance with Mary Jane and the easiest way to get your ganja on.
Kids today are truly surrounded by messages telling them marijuana is safe. These are just 2 movies that talk about weed.
In summary, the science has never been clearer. Harvard University, Northwestern, the New England Journal of Medicine, the American Academy of Pediatrics are all issuing scientific reports with regard to the health harms and consequences of marijuana. As parents, we must be clear to our youth that we do not want them using marijuana. The way we begin is with the conversation.
So what do you say when you talk to your kids? The best approach may be to focus on one goal. You do not want them to use. It's best to stick to simple, straightforward, irrefutable arguments. Marijuana makes it harder for your brain to make good decisions. Marijuana reduces motivation and increases impulsivity. For some people, once they start using marijuana, they can't or won't stop. Marijuana can keep you from doing and being your best. Never ride in a car with someone who has been using marijuana. The chances of being involved in an accident go way up.
In our society, there are a lot of issues related to marijuana that your kids or even other parents may raise. Let's just discuss one of these for a minute, the comparison to alcohol. One issue emerging is to just regulate it like alcohol. Let's think about that. Alcohol is highly regulated. There is an age limit on who can drink. There are drunk driving laws. There is a warning label for pregnant women. Yet, what is the number one substance our youth use? Alcohol. So to say that by legalizing and regulating marijuana, we will be making it less available to our children is simply not true. That's not the way alcohol is played out. To youth, legal means safe. When kids think it is safe to use, they are more likely to use it. Secondly, on this idea that marijuana is safer than alcohol, think about this. Who would you rather have watch your children? Someone who has been drinking or someone who has been using marijuana? Now, this scenario, who would you rather have piloting the plane you are on? Someone who has been drinking or someone who has vaped wax? The point is neither, right? Because neither are safe to do when you are hired to watch children as a babysitter or to fly a plane. To say that marijuana is safer than alcohol is simply not true. To say that marijuana is harmless is simply not true. When talking with your children about this, medical marijuana, legalization, and the comparison to alcohol might be worthwhile topics to debate. But for your discussion with your child, it is best to focus on the effects that marijuana can have on them and their safety. With one bottom line, you don't want them to use.
So many kids will turn the tables and ask, well, did you use? The Partnership for Drug-Free Kids recommends not lying and not making excuses, but telling war stories and past use can be counterproductive. What's most important is what they will do with their future and not what you've done in your past. So focus on your primary message about the difficulty in making good decisions, staying motivated, and deciding not to use, and that marijuana today is much stronger and comes with greater risks than when you were young. If you choose not to use, you can talk about how and why you made your decision, or discuss how you saw others act after using marijuana.
If you know of a child that needs help for their marijuana use, please call the toll-free helpline at 1-855-378-4373. Operators are available to answer questions in both English and Spanish. In addition to the operators, parent coaches are ready and waiting to help.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.